to another video. I know I posted 10 billion videos today, but I don't care. Well, in this video, we're going to be finding out the dark truth about Animal Hospital, about Flush. So let's search Flush. He has uploaded 2 videos. First is 8 minutes, then 10 minutes. Why do
My gosh, so much new stuff. Wow, everything looks so expensive. Oh, honey, you'll have to live on bread and water now.
We can talk about
it's
it, Dad.
Yusk.
You can go now. You can go now. Are you kidding me? There's another one. I should have known that there's 2 things. Oh, skip.
What is the lore about Animal Hospital? This is a game where you work as an intern and you're supposed to take in patients while also kicking out strange anomalies. But is that really what you're doing? Because I believe something far more sinister is going on around here. I believe the players aren't actually the good guys, and this doctor isn't all he seems to be. So now the game itself is pretty simple. So when you first join into the game, you're right outside the Animal Hospital. You can freely join the game and play with your friends, but you actually start uncovering the truth about this hospital by talking to these 2 animals just hanging out in the lobby. The doctors refuse to speak.
First.
You're not even trying to hide it anymore. Look around. Another containment breach in Ward C. That's the 4th this month. So already, the Animal Hospital is starting to look suspicious. What is it that they're hiding? Well, we could also talk to this other critter right here, and they'll say 3 patients vanished from their rooms last week. The doctors won't talk about what's in the basement. So yeah, the doctors are hiding secrets, and animals that get checked into this hospital are also going missing. So what's going on around here? Well, that's when we can start taking a look at some of the iconic characters within the game, like Barney. So Barney comes in and introduces himself. He also mentions he doesn't really want to check in or anything, he just kind of comes to you and asks for coffee. Nothing out of the ordinary, but then he keeps coming to you for coffee, and you think nothing of it. But then you realize, what does coffee in this game actually do? Well, it raises your sanity, makes you not lose your mind, and also helps you not see all these strange creatures around the hospital, because you'll soon discover that Barney isn't who he says he is. Anyways, at some point Barney gives you a suitcase that says, "Do not open." Once you grab the suitcase, there's a mention that the suitcase feels heavy, but more on that later. Anyways, at some point Barney comes back and requests a favor. He asks for you to take a picture of him, and this is when you finally see the truth, that he's actually an anomaly. But he doesn't attack you or anything. In fact, he calls you his friend and goes about his night. Why doesn't he attack you? You know, he is a bad guy after all. Well, that's because you're not actually a good guy either. More on that later though. Yeah, things do get creepier with Barney though. Like at some point he requests a scalpel, and so when you go and give it to him, he'll mention how it'll help a lot. And he also decides that it's time for him to take his suitcase at the same time. Now, the game doesn't really explain what's inside the suitcase and what's he gonna do with the scalpel, but my theory is that the suitcase probably contains a body, and he's going to dissect whatever's in there. Probably one of the many anomalies that you find in this game. Yeah, very disturbing, but not really that crazy for Barney, because at some point he asks to hide with you for a little bit. And so if you allow him, he'll go behind the counter and hide with you. Meanwhile, the police arrive and they're looking for him. They mention how he's a serial killer and also show you this photo, the exact same one you were told to take of Barney. And then when you turn around, you'll see Barney holding a knife out, looking extremely dangerous. Yeah, if you try to talk with him, he'll state, "I will kill you if you say a word. If you speak, I will kill you, friend." And so you're pretty much given 2 different options. You can keep Barney hidden, or you can turn him in. So what's the right move? Surely you want to turn in the serial killer, right? You know, the one that used the scalpel to dissect whatever's in that suitcase? You want to turn him in? Well, if you decide to turn in Barney, he'll actually just hurting Officer Duckman and escaping, and you end up getting nothing in return. But if you end up helping Barney and don't turn him in, Officer Duckman will just leave and Barney will thank you for all the help you've given him by awarding you with an extra free coffee maker. Yeah, that's right, you get nothing for turning in a serial killer, and then you get a free coffee maker, which is extremely useful in this game for helping out the killer. Very strange morals in this game. And now the question is, why does Barney trust you so much? Why does this killer just decide to leave a briefcase with a body in it? And also, why does he keep coming in for coffee? Well, that's because he trusts the hospital and everybody that's in it. And that's because he's actually working with the doctor. Now this is Dr. Harlow. Dr. Harlow is always seen as a trustworthy character in this game. I mean, he ends up giving you advice on surviving this whole hospital, so surely he could be trustworthy, right? He's totally a complete good guy, right? Well, actually, wrong. See, remember that one animal that states they're not even trying to hide it anymore? Look around. And yeah, when you look around in this lobby, if you look up in the window, you can see Dr. Harlow just staring directly at you. And he doesn't have the normal innocent looking eyes that he typically has in the game. No, he's actually an anomaly. And again, this game isn't even trying to hide it that much. Like literally one of the thumbnails is Dr. Harlow holding a knife on an innocent looking bunny right there. Yeah, no, Dr. Harlow and everybody in this hospital is actually a bad guy. And what I believe is that in this game, you're not actually treating patients and curing them, you're actually spreading the disease of these anomalies. You're actually spreading the disease of these anomalies. That's right, you're actually the bad guy. Yeah, one of the texts that the critter says is, the security footage from last night is missing again. So somebody in the hospital is purposely deleting the footage of whatever lurks within this building. The doctors also refuse to speak. Patients are vanishing from their room. Every employee who enters the East Wing quits within a week. And then not to mention also that basement that they're talking about. For sure, things are hiding within this hospital building. I've seen the same patient die twice now. Same person twice. What I believe is that in this game, you're not actually treating patients and curing them. Instead, you're actually spreading the disease of these anomalies. Yeah, you ever wonder why your face in this game looks so creepy? Or even when you do the jump scare event, you even look like an anomaly? That's because you are one. More information about this hospital can be found in the other characters, such as Ron from Accounting. So Ron from Accounting is someone you'll meet quite frequently throughout this game, and he drops a lot of interesting information. You ever wonder why they keep hiring new people? Never mind. So already he has some information that he's not telling you about this place. Now Ron throughout this game gives you some useful information. He is surprised that you're still here, you know, still alive and working at this hospital. But yeah, throughout the game he does end up giving you advice to dealing with the other anomalies. But now why are there anomalies throughout this whole hospital in the first place? Well, remember that one animal in the lobby saying how there's patients that are disappearing, or a mention of the basement and how people are quitting once they find out the truth about the East Wing? Something sinister is actually going on around here. And Ron gives his biggest lore drop when he mentions, you want to know a secret? They're testing something here. The patients, they're not sick, they're infected. And to add more to that, I also believe that we're not curing them from this infection. We're actually spreading this whole disease. Yeah, we also get some more information from Ron when he states, ever read the hospital discharge logs? The corporation owns this place, but they hide the logs. Pretty sketchy. Yeah, he also mentions how they moved the old files last month. Said it was a routine cleanup. A lot of smoke for a routine cleanup. So yeah, Ron keeps pointing out the flaws about this hospital, how they're being very secretive and hiding or deleting information, but why? Again, because they don't want the public to know about what truly is going on in this hospital. Yet, he also mentioned something about that rat was in my office once. True, through some experiment reports I wasn't supposed to see. Did me a favor, honestly. Now, what rat is he talking about? Well, that would be the next character in this game. The one that is probably hiding a ton of information and not fully revealing to us his true intention. That is Rathu. So Rathu shows up pretty early in the game and explains how being small has its advantages, how he hears things and sees things as well. He also mentions how it's a dangerous job. And so right off the bat, it can be interpreted that Rathu is like some sort of spy. He does at some point give you some advice to don't trust anyone at the hospital. Again, I feel like that's a warning on not trusting Dr. Harlow and possibly any other future characters we might see in this game, because Rathiu knows something that we don't. Remember, he chewed up some important documents that Ron wasn't supposed to see. And now with the new update, Rathiu now has a few more interesting lines, like for example, the people with suitcases are hiding secrets. Something evil is going on here. Stay alert. And now who's got a suitcase in this game? Well, we've got Dr. Harlow, Barney, and Ron from accounting. All the ones that seem friendly towards the player, all actually have a dark secret within them. And then also with this new update, Rathiu mentions how he needs to leave, but first wants to chat with you. So you decide to let him into the front desk area, and he sits down, and then he tells you some important lore about himself. I had a twin sister, Ratina. Smart one in the family, that's for sure. She worked for the Animal Corporation. So again, the whole government in this game. Then one day, she just vanished. No note, no goodbye, nothing. I've been looking for her ever since. Rathiu at that point up and goes. Remember, the whole Animal Corporation is now after him. So he decides to leave, but before he heads out, he leaves you with something. He leaves a key with a note saying, "Took this key from the dock." And now what you do with this key is you go over to one of the many motivational posters and you'll get an option that says break poster. And once you do that, you'll find this safe where once you use the key, you'll find 3 different items. The top secret suitcase that Dr. Harlow always has, a note that says the experiment was a success, the shadow now sees everything, and then finally a photo of Ratina, Rathiu's sister. So we know for sure now that this whole hospital, they're conducting experiments, but for what reason? And what does Ratina have to do with all this? Was she actually taken? Is she working with Dr. Harlow? There's a lot still to uncover. Like, I didn't even talk about how some of this game is actually based off of real life scenarios. So if you want me to look more into that, as well as the lore of Animal Hospital, let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe. Goodbye.
Flight prices go up and down all the time. It can
Now
be a
it's
bit of
time
a
to
jungle.
go to the... Time to watch the next one. It's this one.
Well, Animal Hospital has been hiding from you. Animal Hospital is a game where you take in patients, check for any strange anomalies, and then try to survive the night. All while a whole bunch of different things are trying to come after you or just trying to sneak into the hospital. But what else is this game actually hiding? Is it based on anything in our world? Well, yes. See, in the main lobby of the whole bunch of different things are trying to come after you or just trying to sneak into the hospital. But what else is this game actually hiding? Is it based
Well, guys,
on any...
this is the real hospital in South Korea. This is the actual same exact abandoned hospital in South Korea. It was made in 1960. Free, I believe, and destroyed in 1987 and demolished in 2018. Yeah, this is the exact hospital before it was taken in 2018 when it was demolished.
Anything in our
Let's
world?
continue.
Well, yes. See, in the main lobby of the game, you can look around and see a couple of different signs. And just looking at these signs, it pretty much tells us that this game takes place somewhere in East Asia.
Yeah, it's in East Asia, Asian Highway. And I found that this sign, which has 14A, actually says 14A exit to the Asian Highway in South Korea.
So either Japan, Korea, or China is my guess. A lot of the text around here is also Korean. Like up there, there's some Korean text that when translated, it reads emergency room. So now I wanted to see if there was any real world haunted hospitals somewhere in East Asia. And that's when I discovered the Gonjiam Psychiatric Hospital.
Yeah, that is
so it's a
the-
place located in South Korea. It's known to be one of the most haunted places in South Korea and also one of the freakiest places in the world. And
Wait, I forgot to comment. Flush.
there's been many talks about this hospital. There's legends of mysterious
really
deaths,
see-
mad doctors that were as crazy as the patients in the asylum.
Grandpa,
And
it's
so what we
like
actually know about the hospital is that it was built in the year 1961, and it had 3 floors where it served hundreds of patients. It would
Okay,
then close in the year
W+.
1996 when the owner and director of the asylum would end up dying. But now a ton of different rumors started spreading about this whole asylum. There's legends that hundreds of patients died with no explanation, the cruel ways that the doctors treated the patients. Yeah, we could relate this to Animal Hospital, how Dr. Harlow may not be so nice after all. Now, honestly, a lot of these are just rumors. I mean, there has been some people that have visited the hospital and swear they see something. Ugh. Wait, was that a face right there?
Yeah, that
Under the
is
table, it looks like a
probably a
man with a
face.
scared face. Wait, at 012, you could see a female half face on the wall? Huh? Let's go there. 012.
Onjia Mental Institution.
Is there...
Long abandoned.
Was that a face? Was that a woman there? I don't know, but I don't like any of this.
These
I would
guys
hate to do any of
snuck
these things
into the
here. But now, what does this real-life asylum have in common with the Roblox game Animal Hospital? Well, we have claims about mysterious patients' deaths, insane doctors, secret experiments. People who have visited the abandoned building have also mentioned that they hear disembodied voices, feeling cold spots, and also maybe seeing shadowy figures. Also, this whole building is fenced in, kind of similar to this Roblox game right here, where if you look all around, they kind of make it impossible for you to escape this whole facility. But now we're just kind of making assumptions at this moment. They're not conducting experiments in this hospital.
Hey, so me and the girls went racing today. It was so much fun. We were like,
3 bees in a pod. Holly Doyle rides and she's in great form. The only danger is gone in 60
Second, then first. We thought it had lost.
But we won! What a day!
5 million memories made every year. The going is good. Search horse racing near me.
How to use duplicate file fixer on Android. Depending on the file type, you can choose
Facility. But now we're just kind of making assumptions at this moment. They're not conducting experiments in this hospital, right? They're not evil, right? Well, wrong. I talked about this in my lore video, but pretty much there's clues all around you that something bad is happening in the hospital. Like, for example, if you talk to these animals outside in the lobby, they'll say things like, "They're not even trying to hide it anymore. Look around." The doctors won't talk about what's in the basement. The doctors refuse to speak. I've seen the same patient die twice now. Same person, twice. The security footage from last night is missing. Again, I feel like someone is watching me near this place. And yeah, when you turn around, up ahead is actually Dr. Harlow just following you everywhere you go. And yeah, as you can see his eyes, those aren't normal looking eyes at all. No, Dr. Harlow looks to either be an anomaly or infected. Yeah, even Ron from accounting says, you want to know a secret? They're testing something here. The patients, they're not sick, they're infected. Yeah, also throughout the game, you're helping out Barney, who's actually a serial killer. Yeah, that's right. The intern in this game isn't a good guy either. And that's because the intern used to be part of an experiment. Yeah, you ever wonder why your character, kind of looks like that? Well, that's because you're not a normal animal. Maybe you were at some point, but now you're also an anomaly. See, I realized it the other day when I looked at the jump scare scene, you know, the one that you used to be able to purchase on the wall to jump scare everybody in the game. Yeah, they actually ended up removing the whole jump scare all Game Pass in general. But when it was allowed, it would play out this scene right here. And I realized 2 different things. 1, the player has a face similar to that of an anomaly. That's pretty obvious. But 2, behind the player is a padded cell. Now, why exactly is the player inside this padded area? And where would this location be? Well, remember that one animal that mentioned something about a basement? And again, also tying in Ron's line about people in this building are infected. Yeah, also just look at the intern's outfit. It's meant to look like a hoodie, but actually it's more like a straitjacket. And it all now makes sense when looking at this old jump scare scene. And this isn't just a normal jump scare. This is actually a memory that the intern went through. They were put in this room as some sort of experiment and are actually revealed to be some sort of anomaly. But alright, we know that this whole animal hospital is doing some experimentations, but why? And why do these anomalies exist in the first place? Where did they actually come from? Well, we may have the answer to that. See, this person named Linksys Alt actually managed to break through the game and found some pretty interesting things. Yeah, they found a whole bunch of different models of the many characters in this game, but what I found the most interesting was this little image here. Because when you look at it, you realize it's actually a real newspaper. And so I went ahead and translated it, and I found out that this whole newspaper is talking about the Fukushima nuclear accident. Which, if you don't know, in the year 2011, there was an earthquake that hit Japan, and because of this earthquake, it ended up exploding a nuclear power plant in Fukushima. Yeah, this whole explosion was considered to be the worst nuclear incident since the Chernobyl disaster. Yeah, there's even over 164,000 local residents that had to move out of the area due to all the radiation that was around there. But now the question is, why is this newspaper about this nuclear accident in this Roblox game? And why is it just kind of hiding in the background? Well, it could be part of the backstory of Animal Hospital. Now let's try to put a timeline to this whole thing. The timeline in this game is that at some point there was a nuclear explosion that caused a whole infection amongst the townspeople and possibly the world, turning them into all these strange anomalies. Again, we know for a fact that animals are infected. Ron from accounting has clearly mentioned this. And so the Animal Hospital would take in these patients, but then they would begin to experiment on them. We know this because Ron also mentions how there's experiments going on here. We also know that something else is happening within the basement of the place. And we're now at a point where this hospital is refusing those who are actually anomalies. You know, the ones that actually do need the help. Yeah, the Animal Hospital doesn't want anything to do with them anymore. They just want the animals that aren't actually anomalies. But why? Is this for an experiment that they're working on? Yeah, we know this whole place does do experiments, because clearly something happened with the intern over here. Also, in the new update, the character Liz mentions how these anomalies are not a coincidence. Something strange is going on here. And not to also mention that Dr. Harlow is now also seen carrying a box where he very clearly doesn't want you, the intern, to know what's inside. If you even talk to Dr. Harlow, he even mentions how some sacrifices must be made. Maybe even I might be one of them. Yeah, no, that was pretty clear from the lobby of the game, Dr. Harlow. But also, when we talk to Rathu, in the latest update, he gives us a key to Dr. Harlow's secret stash. And then if we take this key, go to one of these pictures here, and find Dr. Harlow's secret safe, we're able to find what he's actually hiding. There's a note that says, the experiment was a success. The shadow now sees everything. And then on the right side is an image of Rathu's sister, Ratina, who many people also believe she's this stalker creature that's following you all around the game. Yeah, I mean, they do have very similar attributes and everything, but I also believe one of the animals outside mentioned something about a shadow. So either Ratina turned into this shadow, or she's actually working with Dr. Harlow on making these experiments. But what do you all think? I imagine there's going to be a ton more lore that we could dig into, so if you want me to look more into this game, let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe. Goodbye!
Well, that's it for today,
At
guys.
Peridizer.
Make sure to like and subscribe. I'm not begging. Bye.